Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are ranking every handheld Sims game. This is different than what I normally do. So we have some different tier rankings than, again, what we normally do because this is a list that I found that was pre-created. At the bottom here, we have never played, and then we have all the other ones. Quite a few of these, I'm telling you right now, I've never played them. But let's get started. First off, we have The Sims Bustin' Out. This was released for Game Boy Advance. And I remember when I first ever played it, that I was very confused because up until then, I had only played the original Sims on PC, and I totally was under the impression that you could create a family in this and play similarly to how you would play on the PC. That is not the case. It is single player, it is very much kid focused and wacky, and I loved it. So for that, S tier. Next is The Urbz, which is the actual successor to The Sims Bustin' Out, at least in the Game Boy Advance and DS versions. I know that the console versions on PlayStation as well as the PlayStation version of Bustin' Out were more like the original Sims in that, at least for Bustin' Out, there was like a free play mode, I think. But I never played The Sims Bustin' Out on console, and I never played The Urbz on console. I had a friend who had it on PlayStation, but I never played it. I only had the handheld. I also loved this game so much. I remember going back and like recreating new profiles after every time I would complete the game just because I wanted to play the game over and over again. I do like that in this one too, you could start over whenever you wanted. You weren't pushed to the credits immediately upon finishing and you like had to exit out, like you had to stop playing and go on and make a new game. You could keep going on and rack up money and get to like all of the promotions and all of the mini games and get to full rep in your rep group, but not in Bustin' Out. Anyway, I've talked too long about The Urbz. This is a love letter to The Urbz. Maybe I should play The Urbz. It's S tier. The DS and Game Boy versions were slightly different. I know that like the DS I think had a separate island or something that you could go to, and there was a sushi mini game. That's all I remember about it, but the Game Boy version didn't have that because there were a few extra characters in the DS version. I've talked way too long about The Urbz. Next, we have The Sims 2 for Game Boy Advance, which is so incredibly wacky. I can't even tell you. Not as wacky as The Sims 2 for DS. I liked The Sims 2 for Game Boy Advance, but I don't remember loving it as much as The Urbz and The Sims Bustin' Out. I also never fully completed The Sims Bustin' Out. I think I did once, but that was it. I've completed The Urbz like probably 100 times in my life. The Sims 2 for Game Boy Advance, I think it's gonna go in A tier. I really liked it, but I don't think it was the best. There were some levels that I remember being really difficult, especially because it was like based on you being in a TV show. So you had to complete the episode and all of the objectives in that level, which was an episode, in order to continue, and I just didn't really like that aspect of it versus like the other games are more go at your own pace. The Sims 2 for DS, I remember not liking this at all. I didn't like the controls for it. I didn't like the sanity meter. I didn't like the gameplay. I hated the graphics, and I didn't like that if your DS clock was out of sync, or I think if you also waited like too long between play sessions or something, everything weird would happen in your game. I think specifically if you went back in time, there would be aliens and it would be like a really bad situation going on. So for that, it's definitely not going in A tier. I don't hate it. I think it's gonna go in B. Like, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely something that I've played. It's kind of mid. I also realized that this is set up differently than how I usually have my tier lists. We go from C to F. I'm used to C to D. We have The Sims 2 for PlayStation Portable, I believe. I never played this one. No notes. The Sims 2 Pets for DS. I didn't like this one either. You know, honestly, I think I'm gonna move The Sims 2 for DS into C tier, and I'm gonna put Pets with it as well. I just didn't like it. I always would do terribly with the pet objectives and stuff. I remember the cool thing being, I think like Hilary Duff or somebody was in this game, but I didn't like the graphics and I found the gameplay to be too difficult, and I didn't like the lack of customization and how long certain things took to happen. Next, we have The Sims 2 Pets for Game Boy Advance, and I never played played this one either. Again, no notes. Most of these coming up I've never played. Like I haven't played this Sims 2 Pets game either. I have not played the Sims 2 Apartment Pets. I've not played any of the Castaway stuff. Actually, the whole rest of this I've not played. I didn't play any of the Sims 3 portable games or whatever this Sims 3 Pets is, I think. These images are kind of small and I'm having a little difficulty seeing them, but I never played any of those. So this is going a lot quicker than I thought it would because most of these I haven't played. Anyway, that is my tier list. Here we are. Most of them I haven't played. This is really just a love letter to the Game Boy Advance games. If you want to fill out this list yourselves, I will leave the link down in the description to the blank template. Credit goes to the original person who made this. They did a great job and I think they included everything. I know that like the free play or whatever version isn't on there. That's like a phone app or something. We're just going purely off of like handheld console releases. We're going to be ranking more Sims games in the future going by generation. Like for the original Sims, that's going to be a video and so on and so forth. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know what your favorite Sims handheld game is if you have one. I'm dying to know. I really want to go back and play the Urbz again now. I should do that. Bye.